that I have enough service here to do a live transmission, as well as the second installment in the new series about healers, traps, and the path of initiation for healers that I clearly was downloaded to bring through on this channel at Mont Blanc in Chamonix, France. We did the first one with Mont Blanc behind us on the role of rescuer, family of origin. This one I was very specifically told to make sure that the bridge was in the shot. I'm in the one of these magical forests, did a little bit of grid work here, broke a bunch of spells. You get some like really old, powerful warlocks that played around with things in this region of the planet. So, you know, I was joking with my new healer friend in Portugal, like, you know, like, oh my goodness, clear that crap off the land. I will say this, as we clear these type of things, it sets old lineages free. When you're the caster, the imprisoner, you're also imprisoned in that dynamic. I saw that a long time ago when I did a bunch of clearing work. The jailer is also having to monitor the jailed, so it's like a construct that we end up like, no judgment, playing in. It's duality, it's fascinating, right? But don't think that those who are casting spells or putting dark nets or limitations are free. They're not. They're having to be yeah, like as I'm talking about that, all this is clearing. And so it's such a weird paradox, because you think like we've been grown up with images of people being able to hold power, but when you hold power like that, you're held. You're held in that construct. You're held back. Blech. Time for a new paradigm, anyone? So here we are, the bridges. So a lot of curses were broken here on the land, in the region, here in Switzerland. I am at Blausee, and you will see the gorgeous pictures of the bright turquoise blue waters. This is my maiden name, Blue Water. Haha. Can't make it up, right? For an indigo. Indigo 2, traveling the planet, doing a bunch of field work to create more balance and harmony and restore the templates, right? We're working at multidimensional physics level. So that's just a little background if you happen to wander onto my channel and you don't know who the heck is here. Hey, it's nice to see some of you here. Go ahead and say hi. It's hard to see the screen, but I can feel you. All right, let's get into it. I am really curious to see what comes through. I will definitely share from my own experience. Let's keep the conversation going. I really, really, really appreciate all the love that got sent my way after the last live when I asked for love and support. I really appreciate that. You know, I was telling a friend today, 3 years ago, I would never have felt like that was something that I would be able to do, because I wouldn't even have thought that that was something you should do. Like, defended, lone wolf, like, got it all together. I'm the one that serves and helps. So out of balance. I see it with love now. A little bit of like, oh my gosh, you know, the distortion, but I get it. When we're playing in distortion, we really, really believe it. Like, there was a time I really, really believed lone wolf was definitely the way to go. And then I took it to such an extreme, I ended up trapped there. Whew, you know, so thanks to those of you writing in talking about this is helping you come out of lone wolf. When we judge others, when we see others as like, you know, we're judging ourselves, we're judging everything we were taught or somehow developed an idea is not lovable. Whether it's, you know, arrogance, or you laugh too loud, or you don't speak up, or, you know, I mean, my God, there's like 1,000 shades of judgment. But I really want to make clear before we dive in today that the judgment is always about us. This is the shadow work I'm doing with my healer clients all around the world on the daily, and with myself continuously. What we judge in others, we're judging in ourselves, because somewhere along the line we learned or thought or developed a belief system that that's not okay, that's not acceptable, that's not lovable. And that, my friends, is the work. I'm revealing the whole secret of the universe here. That's what we're doing. We're hiding love in all these strange, contorted ways, and then we're seeing if we can solve the Rubik's Cube and come out of it. Oh my gosh, love is the foundation. But I get that being a human culture, subculture. I'm around a lot of different cultures as I travel through Europe, and I can feel the different like edges of the distortions in the cultures, right? Um, whether it's kind of like so much or so contracted. Hey Valerie, nice to see you here. All right, so let's get into it. Haha. Another one of these little pitfalls on the healer's path of initiation. You say you want to be a healer, huh? Well, buckle up and get ready, because here are all the stages you're going to work through. Probably many of you coming now into your emergent phase are going to move through them really fast. You're not going to like get stuck in them for a whole lifetime or 3 decades. So, is it service or is it self-sacrifice? My team's showing me, look at the segue between family of origin, rescuer role that many of us took on, that inherent is that you will martyr or self-sacrifice yourself to save others, help others, do for others. But underneath that, I'm glad we started with the kind of the BS on the rescuer role, is that's all self-serving. That's not clean. We actually can interrupt other people's free will when we're rescuing. Whoa. So the mechanism that we often have played out the rescuer as healers is through sacrifice, self-sacrifice. To many of our health detriment. I myself, this body's had to be recovered 3 times by different healers that they sent in, like, crap, her avatar is gonna go, like, send them in. Because I definitely had that program going, like, I'll save the day, and then, you know, it's an interesting role, multidimensional field agent. You know, definitely agenda's not wanting me to do my work, so came under that fire. And so now I approach it very differently. You know, I'm not out to like save the day. It's just more loving presence, moving and alchemizing and moving and alchemizing. And it's very different and life sustaining. And I'm not running myself ragged. I prioritize my rest at a completely different level these days. You know, so this is the invitation to reflect. Where might you have gotten caught up in sacrificing yourself without realizing it, right? It would be in your blind spot, because that's the program. And that's the program culturally for a lot of people, you know, for parents especially, but all sorts of different nuances there. I mean, look at like wars that are fought. You sacrifice yourself. Like there's a lot of like interesting ritual on this planet that has sacrifices kind of its underpinning. Interesting experiment, but not super high vibe and life-giving. So as that all starts to clear up and people start opting out of seeking love through self-sacrifice, not to judge it either, but just to witness it compassionately, what then can be born and birthed from this space? I'm being shown this continuous flow and the infinity flow and the overflow. This was day 7 of the 12 days of joy. We began with the overflow. So when we place ourselves in a state of overflow, source flow, we are source fractals after all. Ooh, you feel that? That's coming through. Then we can serve from the overflow, not the sacrifice. I won't lie, I'm still working on this one. I can tell I'm still sometimes dipping into the old, but go ahead and imagine you're here with me in the forest. Ground deep in like the trees. This beautiful tree behind me. Yeah, thank you. Oh, you feel that? All that support and love. So just ground in. Roots all the way down into the earth. And then your branches tall up, soaking up the sun. And then begin to draw up energy from the ground and send it up into your branches and up into the solar sun, and then back down through your crown. And then imagine this beautiful flow going. There we go. There we go. We got it going now. Yeah, there's all sorts of beautiful alchemy moving. Like I can feel it up my spine. This is how we will regenerate our bodies. This is how we will de-age ourselves. Dis-ease and decrepitude are not the natural original design of this template, by the way. Yeah, there we go. I myself, who raise your hand if you if you still struggle with this, I'm like up here in my noggin all the time. Whoa, versus down in your feet. Imagine if we spent equal amount of time in our feet that we did in our minds. Ooh, the trees are talking now. They're like, yeah, humanity would come home to itself at such a different level. It would be synced up with the earth, such a different level. So I know many of you know this and you spend a lot of time in the natural world for this reason. And I'm just being shown, like, bring that into every space with you. I'm noticing my hands are lighting up, so my own vitality is increasing. I was on the road a lot today. I thought I was just going to take a short drive and ended up literally having to drive my car onto a train that brought me over the mountain. It was really cool, but completely unexpected. And it definitely was this moment of like, yeah, you don't have to do it all. Like, get on the train and let it carry you. It was wonderful. So let these energies of the overflow carry us. So I work a lot with the code, the tri-gate. Hey, Vicki, nice to see you here. Of course you were told to look at YouTube. I know, we're all so synced up. And this is it, right? This is unity consciousness. And we'll get what we need, but we have to, what the trees, ooh, man, the trees are lighting me up. I've got 4 of them right here. Let me swing you around so you can kind of see. They're like, everybody wants to be seen here. Let's see. Ooh, just in a whole forest here. So what they're saying is unity consciousness is, amazing, right? So you can get all of your needs and then some met. But you got to do it. Like, you got to root. We got to actually use our roots, right? Oh my God. Yeah, the trees are loud. I'm so glad that I'm not the only one. I was like, whoa, man, they're like, we have to use our our roots. All right, the other thing that's coming in right now to share, trauma affects our nervous system regulation as humans, right? So I don't want to gaslight or minimize the effects of that. I myself have lived through a lot of that, especially through financial crucibles of the last few years that have, literally at one point sent me into a panic attack. I'd never experienced that. And, I have that file and I'm super humbled and grateful. And I have so much compassion for that, because if you can't regulate your nervous system, it's brutal, quite frankly. And so I had this moment today where I was on the train and it was taking me through this long, dark tunnel. And I was on a cable car yesterday going, 8,000 vertical and, just experienced no fear whatsoever. And I had this moment where I thought today, isn't that odd? Like, I have no fear whatsoever. No fear the cable car is going to break or the train's going to go off the rails. And yet I continue to experience a lot of fear at different times around finances. What is that about? Like, how can I trust this infrastructure? And then it hit me. I was like, oh, it's about trusting life. It's about trusting yourself. It's about trusting a larger infrastructure. And so I could have white knuckled the whole ride of the cable car, freaking out that the whole thing might fall apart and then I'll crash and die on the side of the mountain. But instead I was just able to enjoy the ride. And do you see the metaphor? I'm not saying it's easy, but I will tell you it intrigued me greatly. And I will be doing a lot of communicating with my guides in the early morning when I wake up and do all my channeling with myself, because I really want to understand this, because it's a huge impediment to all of us living with greater ease and joy on this planet. And for some reason I'm being shown right now that it's intentionally keyed and torqued and tweaked so that we're in dis-ease. So now it's really got me interested. Well, I'm going to find the broadcast centers for that. But essentially what the trees are saying now is, instead of buying into the program that you have to sacrifice your life force for a wage, right? Which is a lot of what people are doing here. No judgment. Inner source through unity, the unity field. Not inner source just on your own as an individual, but come into these spaces where the unity template is alive and well here. Man, I'm looking around here. There's just probably thousands of trees in this forest, and they're all working together, sharing resources, exchanging information. Next level info I came across a few years ago is that the trees even have the ability to call and change the kind of the, I don't want to say ionosphere, and electrically call in rain when they need it. Yeah, I can hear them all. That's awesome. So that's what we're being asked to switch into, is out of self-sacrificing and into inner sourcing for service. I get it. It can be really tempting in the beginning because, I don't know about you, but I grew up a skeptic. So when all these abilities started to activate, I was kind of like, whoa, I can do stuff like this, amazing. And so then rescuer, and I can heal people, and I can clear their fields, and I'm the exorcist, and woo, it was very heady at the time. And my team kept telling me, calm down, don't develop a spiritual ego. You're just going to have to deconstruct that later. These are no big deal in other systems, It's like the human race forgot their abilities a long time ago, but, many star systems, like, no big whoop, right? Don't get a big head about it. But I tell everyone that, especially the more emergent healers, because I want you to be able to experience that and go, oh yeah, this is normal. This is just kind of a normal thing. We're coming out of amnesia, we're activating, we're remembering. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler alert here. I don't know where the whole series is going to go. It'll be interesting, but I want to say, like, the big ta-da reveal, I'm going to do it right now, is, I have all sorts of amazing abilities from a human perspective. And at the end of the day, the most powerful work I can be doing is loving what I've judged in myself, in others. Oh my gosh, as I'm saying that, like, there's so much clearing. So this is a clearing and activation for all of us right now. It's not just a conversation. It's okay. Like, and I feel so much of the grief coming up in the field, because there's grief and sadness and maybe even shock when you realize how much you've judged. Just breathe through that. That's a lot of clearing for everyone. But this is good because it's all clearing from kind of the heart space and the throat center. The trees are interesting. I love hanging out with different beings, because they're saying in lieu of trying to say the right thing, just say nothing at all. Let your presence be your message. Let your loving presence be your message. I'd like everyone to try this. I'm going to try it. I mean, I'm kind of doing it already because I'm traveling solo until Shrimpy, aka Artemisia Love, gets here in a week. But try just moving into loving presence and not engaging in conversation as much, and just notice the bit of alchemy that can shift. I can get very excited about these concepts and talk. But I notice I tend to then try to meet people in the cerebral, and the message gets diluted versus just be the message, be the emanation. Yeah, see, as soon as we do it, I'm like, everything lightens up. Everything lightens up. Okay, and then I'm being shown, let's do a lower back clearing, because moving out of self-sacrifice as part of your service, so deeply ingrained in the body, the ancestral lines that we took on. So we're gonna start clearing the lower back from self-sacrifice. It's interesting as we clear that, how much this is opening up. There we go. Ooh, the hips too. There you go. Let's let the body release the self-sacrifice program. Orientation. Yeah. Oof. And let's not just leave it there, but I'm being shown, let's go ahead and give it a new program. We're reprogramming it with its self-regeneration. There we go. Ooh, that's coming online. The tailbone all the way up. So that's a complete reversal. There's a lot integrating. Ooh, especially between the shoulder blades. If you're new to this work, just breathe. If you're feeling strange sensations, just breathe. Drink a lot of water after this. There we go. That's better. So self-regeneration instead of self-sacrifice? Sounds good to me. So take a few deep breaths. The trees are laughing at me. They're like, you're up in your head again. Root, 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 ground down, ground down. Beautiful. And as we all serve from a place of self-regeneration, know that what you give will always return to you. You are the flow itself. There's no depletion. Yeah, it's stiff. I can feel like things changing in between my ears even, like like a syncopation. It's interesting. Welcome to the inner tech of the multidimensional self, my friends. Move over devices and gadgets and let's fire this baby up, right? The OG design. It's okay if people want to go transhumanism, whatever. It's an interesting exploration, but my template is clear. It's all about the inner tech and activating that. And I just realized that the setting is so exciting for my inner child because when I was a kid, I used to run around in the woods and pretend I was an Ewok from Star Wars. So now I just hang out with Sasquatch, the little people. Let's see, somebody's writing. Yeah, yawning. Yep, clearing. So I'm gonna go skip around and play in the woods a little bit more. This was really fun. I'm so glad. I felt this like impulse, like get out there. And it's fascinating. There were a lot of people over by the lake, but nobody in here. What? So, yeah, let's keep the conversation going. Again, thank you for your love and support. Really means a lot to me. I will keep asking for help and love and support. I won't be like, I'm good. That's enough. Oh, thanks, Valerie. Thank you so much. Yeah, and give yourself a big hug right now, everyone. Yay! I had a mentor who taught me this. And give yourself kisses. Thank your body for everything it does for you. Let's not drag it around and sacrifice its health. Yeah, the body, I just checked in with the body. The body's like, yeah, let's do it, self-regeneration. Let's change the legacy. And for anyone wandering on the channel or even those internal skeptic kind of remnant programs, I mean, I still have them crop up from time to time. Antibiotics used to not be a thing, okay? Microbiology wasn't even understood. We're moving into multidimensionality now as the underpinning of a new reality and an entire new scientific paradigm, a healthcare paradigm, an education paradigm, all of it. This is just the beginning. So, and I'm hearing that song. You ain't seen nothing yet. And the last thing I just want to do is thank our ancestors. They didn't know any better. They were just doing what they were taught to do. I checked in with my ancestor, Hans George Blausee, who emigrated in 1751 on a ship called the Phoenix to the United States, by the way. Talk about full spiral. And he just showed me, he said, you're just, like, I thought about that. I was like, because I drove through these villages and I thought, from the 1750s to leave your country on a ship, I mean, that's kind of next level, And he was just saying, like, you're just taking this to the next step, to the next level. It's like moving out of old constructs and constraints and limited thinking and helping shift and evolve. So one of these days, one of these transmissions is going to come from a spaceship. You know it, a light craft, maybe even another planet or different portal, portal system. All right. that's it for now. I don't know when the next one will be. I don't know when I'm filming these. I really like this mode. It's very different than a linear planned out everything. Before I left for Europe, my team told me slow way down and listen very carefully. And that's what I've been doing. And so the next transmission will come when it's supposed to come. And I'll see some of you live for that and the rest of you on the replay. And yeah, I'll be in Switzerland for the next couple days. Then on to Oslo, Norway, Malmo, Sweden, next to Copenhagen, and then to London for a whole week. So there's still time to fit in a half private day if you want to with me. They're pretty magical. And Shadow Gold Alchemy is open too. I've been kind of doing all this work. I'm like, what am I doing? We're probably going to extend the enrollment for that because, yeah, I've been a little distracted. So if you really want to do a deep dive, I've got spots open in Shadow Gold Alchemy right now where we work fairly intensively to get to the origin of some of the repeating patterns that you might be stuck in, that you took on. So thank you for taking them on. These ancestral lines are no joke. All right, that's all, folks. I love you all so much. And again, thank you so much for the love. I really have felt it. Bye for now.